Clear up.
So first we Chaska Historical Society. Your engine sent me last week.
The old studio. At Grant size bar grill.
Anybody grab that paper first before you want?
Oh, it's gonna cover. Yeah.
And keyboard on the Chaska keyboard building.
Jim Angel, the administrator, can't figure out why he's sound, but it's muted. Did we do this last time?
Yeah, you just need your computer volume. Like, yep.
Apps.
Steve Curtis, resident Southwest Metro Chief.
Steve Ritz, founder of Pittsburgh's Sultan Chaska.
Mel Carlson, community. Sydney Cypher, Works and Rec.
Michaela Hatfield, phone number and Louise on this.
Krista Mark, City Communications.
Julie Grove, Economic Development. Elise Sharon, City Staff. Right, Carrie.
Yes, Curtis.
Also, member of, also building on our outside.
Great to see those. I need a motion to adopt the agenda and approve it.
Motion.
Both from Melissa and second.
I'll second it.
Carries. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Great talk. Next one, what is the introduction?
Treasurer report, yeah.
The biggest change that we had since last month was the August bank salary. You'll notice that I added the third quarter income into that. There should be a check shortly that we will cost $22,000, which is actually right where we need to be. So our spending is in line. We can talk a little bit more today based on that. I think I'd like the bulk of our conversation today would be maybe put the board stuff towards the end and really focus on nailing down the upcoming sticker shop dates and what we want to do with them. So that we we've got it going before council for those dates, but we need to then figure out what we're missing. And that'll help me. The reason this is tied in the budget is that once we know what we want to do on each date, I'll break down the budget for each date.
We're gonna get approval on that.
Yes, because we had that spent so much.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the, credit. Right here, right, second.
I see.
Let's see, all in favor, say aye. Opposed. Carries. Okay.
CPDA, do we want to quickly talk about that?
Why bother?
Okay.
Yeah.
Darn.
Someday we'll get it.
Well, it's still there, folks. Yep. So Lisa brought up an excellent nugget that I add there roundup, and I think it makes sense to start with that, because I think it'll be a smaller topic, and then we'll get into the sip and shop days, and then we can do a farmer's market update, and then draft with the board, and any other updates. That works, I'll be beautiful.
Okay, and actually, I'm going to call on Kent pretty quickly here. Because Kent is the one who brought this idea to me, and that roundup is when there is a sale, at the end of that sale, would you like to round up to the next dollar or whatever? And have that money go to Chaska Historical Society. Anyway, Kent has done that, and in a month, we have brought in $95, which is just.
Like $75. I think last month was 75, and the month before was 10, but it was part of the month.
Oh, okay, but at any rate, we got a check, or we didn't get a check, we got a deposit for $95, and so Kent is the expert on that. It was his idea, and it's been fabulous for us. But Kent, you know more about how that works.
And for us, it's just right to the POS system, so they offer it as a fundraising thing that you can do for any organization that's a nonprofit that has, let's see, what's the system itself?
Benevolent.
Yeah, so for me, there's literally nothing I do, Toast collects the money, they send it directly to them. It was a really easy system to put in place, but the feedback from customers, even mentioning like, hey, it's really cool, it's so local, like, it's not just some, you know, you go through, drive through somewhere, and they're like, would you like to round up, and it goes to this, and you're like, how is that money ever gonna affect locally, so it's been positive if people see that. Just as an idea, if you're gonna do any sort of fundraiser or local, the better people are actually based when we can do something like that, no risk of.
And it's very, very appreciated by the Chaska Society. So, I mean, just the idea Kat, that you came up with it and then made it happen was just like, oh, this is cool. So, thank you. Thank you, Jen.
So I think the shout out to businesses is if this is something you're interested in and you need a little bit of guidance, and I'm sure you'd be willing to lend a little bit of this, that's for, yeah, like you mentioned,
Benevolent.
I can never say that right. Yeah, we have that where we get to go into any charity we want to. And it's really cool, like they have all the Chaska charities on there, I think Christian Friends is on there. They were quick, I think I gave it to you guys last time, because we get $50 every quarter to donate to them. So it's really an easy process. Very cool. All right, so let's talk sip and shops. So Julie and I met, and I don't have this notated on your copy, but I'll walk us through it. And really what we did was, set the dates so that they go for council for approval. And then we kind of played around with the location of it. Because you'll remember we are starting off 9/10 and 9/17 on the two last farmers markets. To kind of use it as a teaching moment because we know we're pulling big crowds down there. Yes.
It's on the back. of the sheet. Oh, it's the-
Oh, sorry guys,
so you want-
double siding. We know we're getting big crowds, we know we could use that as kind of a teaching moment for, here are the dates, here's what it means, here's how you participate. So we'll probably engage in some type of sandwich board, so that we can do that communication, and maybe even some small handouts, since we have those. Just to kind of get the word out about the dates. The next 4 dates are where we changed locations, because the idea is that we partner with you for the list of vendors and then reach out to them for an opportunity to continue with fall-ish themed things for 4 more weeks. Then we should probably keep the locations. I have put it in City Square Park, but if people are used to coming to a market, then a location that they're used to coming to probably makes the most sense. So we say kind of in that sale by Red Bench, because we expect that we'll have a smaller turnout. Like I think you guys are upwards of 50-ish vendors now. I don't know that we're gonna get that for a fall market. So my idea was that we kind of stay centered down behind Red Bench. And then potentially it's where we can discuss budget. It looks like, because I enjoy just sitting at the night of eating pizza, not really shopping for the vegetables. It looks like we have good traction between people coming to the market and going over to the park. So maybe we do consider music in the park or something along those lines, because we wouldn't spend anything to put a market on other than maybe boosting a Facebook post, that kind of thing. So we could potentially do something like that to kind of continue that walkable theme that you guys have developed. The Halloween and Deer Saturday locations are all downtown, so it's the SSD board shop. The 11/14 and 11/21, I have question marks next to this because we've never done it. I don't know that any of the vendors that you have, outside of maybe some, but like the soaps and like that kind of stuff. Maybe cookies, I don't know, but do they freeze and it's cold out? I don't know. I don't know, we've got time to think about that and plan it. And I'd love to get some feedback from Anne, because Jones does a really good market that she said kind of just blew up without her. Somebody says, no. I'm gonna stop talking for a second and let Shauna do it.
I'm Shauna Burdick. I'm a new business owner on Second Street, just down from Jones and Rustin Lester. I own Faith Woven, a faith-based apparel and accessory brand.
Happy to be here, thank you. So we've got some time to think about that, but I do want to talk with Ann. She's done a really nice job with a small amount of vendors, but it's still being a really big deal. So that could be something, like, we don't have to have 40 to 50 vendors for something to feel like a big deal. We've got the right people there and the right energy. And that's where I want to get her feedback on how she's done that, because she's done it multiple times, so she's definitely got a system. But I have the plaza notated as that. I know we're shooting for it to be done by winter, but winter is kind of a broad date, so that's why everything is kind of in a question mark. I'd love to do it in the plaza. So we could introduce people to that space and kind of figure out how we create, again, that walkable framework, but I think they were working out for this one, so, okay. And then, of course, Small Business Saturday and Hometown Holiday, we use Hometown Holiday well because of Easter Park, but we use the general SSD orders. All of these have those board. All right, I'm gonna pause. The only thing we approved the last time was really the date, so that we could get those on council. So I want to open it up first to the idea of the events and see if there's any feedback or thoughts on those, and then talk location and potentially what additional things we could supplement those events.
Can I just like back a couple of points? So that's there. So the first two are Thursdays. All of the others are Saturday, including the number 10, right? The Fireman's Park tree lighting does not happen on Sunday, that's Saturday, right?
Yes.
They're all Saturday.
So 2 Thursdays,
Fireman's Park cheerleaders.
well, it's Sunday, but it's our Saturday. So,
So just to be clear, this, if we're talking sip and shop, the lighting is on Sunday, sip and shop is on Saturday.
Yes.
Just so that's the 11/21 next to it. And confusing, so I just want to.
yeah, I should take Fireman's Park tree lighting off there and just leave it as a shopping Saturday, because that's the idea.
Yeah, and even where you have Thursday, and then Saturday, like just hate everybody.
Yeah.
Saturday is the day. And so then a fall market, knowing that Parks and Rec is running farmers market, is the suggestion that that's continuing, or who's administrating the fall market?
So
How does that work?
we would take that over because they had no intention to continue it. So the idea would be that we could maybe borrow their vendor list, so we have a head start in bringing people in. But we would administer it. So instead of them being down there for setup, of course, the market, I would be down.
And then those are the days where you're suggesting moving it
So
to.
I think this is a discussion point, because the markets right now are Thursday meetings. In my opinion, the idea of the sit-in shops is to drive traffic on the weekends. Which is why I move them to Saturdays, because I wanna bring people down on a Saturday. But I think that's a discussion too, like, should we stay consistent with the Thursdays or not?
How long does the fall market last? I mean, the time frame.
So I did four weeks, so 9/26, 10/3, 10/10, 10/17. Oh, that is also up in the air. So I think we, from an event perspective, when we think of Hometown Holiday, we've gone from really long events, 5-ish hours. We've gone down to 2 hours. And I think we found a sweet spot right in that 3 to 4. And the market right now is 4 to 8. 7, so 3 hours. So I'm sure you guys are feeling the same thing we do, that 3 to 4 is kind of the, depending on what you're doing, the right amount of time.
So we're just still gonna have this behind the bakery. I feel like on Saturdays, people have more time to wait for the times. I feel like the longer time should work. My opinion, you're like, you go 5 hours, I think that'd be good, because you start at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning and then go until whatever. I think so.
Well, in fact,
Traction.
that,
Because of the, even seeing the traffic flow to the bakery and seeing that stuff, I should go with, we're busy from, we haven't started, we're busy in the first hour, but we started our lines at like 8 o'clock and it goes until 11 noon.
Okay.
One, like, so 1 maybe, so I mean, that would, I think that will fall from the bakery, will help a lot of those numbers.
okay. And I do think my thought process was similar years, that a morning event would be better than thinking of like a 3 to 6, which when we typically do events, they're more centered in the afternoons, but this felt like a morning thing, so like get people down there and moving around. And I agree with your timing, like budding it up against lunch, so that they hopefully then either go to a restaurant.
Size, bowling routes,
Yes.
open to, you know, wherever.
Do people drink a lot more?
Yes.
I
mean,
It's already offered. Wait.
I mean, right now, I'm playing with it.
I love how there was them.
On Saturday, you definitely see people in it at 10 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, we just wanna make sure it's effective with the shop.
I mean, I would be thinking more in the late morning, somebody's like,
11 or.
yeah, I mean, 8:30 in the morning, somebody's most likely not gonna be.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
It's gonna be pretty family friendly at that point, I'm guessing, you're not gonna have a lot of drinking, but I mean, Irish coffees, things like that, like people may be surprised and maybe something different than all their fall markets that you're going to,
Yeah, sure.
so.
Look, I'm excited to stroll down that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'll go back to.
So, hi, I'm Shauna, so you participated in business events. And so you can figure out how it works, but I think the timing, I love that it would go all day. From a vendor perspective, it can be an hour or two to set up. 4-hour, 5-hour events, another hour, that's a long, I like, when you think about it from a vendor perspective, it looks different than the community walking around, that you have actually participated.
Might have been like 5 hours, I can't remember the time of their event.
The last one was in the.
Guys, so it's like 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like doing more.
And how did that feel? Because you were out there, right?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was nice for me because I just had a little setup and had to start out there, you know, but a lot of people had a lot of setup. Let's see, a lot of times. It was 1 to 5. Okay. Yeah, that was good, but I also kind of like the morning, every coffee. So are we, it's a location, right? Like,
I think that's the question too around location and setup, because as the farmers market test, there's a team of people, right, that are making it happen, and so might be different, maybe it's for specialists, but maybe it's more other things, other retailers, whatever. The place, the location is gonna play a role. And if it's successful, you go from 26 vendors to 50 vendors very quickly with potential follow-up to put a cap on it. So I think those considerations tied to location and the airport time for setup, takeout are all, I think, foundational things that we want to do. Because in Plaza isn't even wrapping up, so.
Can I have one question? Is the ideal that it's in the city plaza in the future? So we would like to train people, if that's the case, so wherever it is, we'd like to train people to go to that place. Like, what's the ideal picture, regardless of what the schedule is out here?
So this is a question for you guys, I think, like you, the Paseo and the church area have worked well. Is that the intent then to market in that location?
I mean,
The farmer's market?
Yeah.
I would think so, yes.
So that's a question for us. Like if people are trained that that's where the markets are at. Did we try and mix it up and move it to the park?
have you ever considered a sit shop and stroll like where you go?
Yeah.
Their businesses, like you pick up these bags that like, hey, you know, it's not, and then go to other locations and then like you purchase tickets even, and then you get a $20 gift from each location and you have a map across that. And then what about like other vendors setting up, you know, like maybe Elon has 2 vendors and I have one on side, or Jones has a sponsor vendor like that, like just getting people to walk around. What are all the businesses?
A lot of the feedback last year was when I would tell somebody they could go eat with the drink, they basically like, here we go. And so like having something to be able to point them in a direction like a fall market, like, hey, go under in the tunnel, go on the other side, it's right there, there's a whole market. I think that would be really good for people to start learning, and then if you have the other small businesses that are in there, be able to promote themselves, but the next time somebody comes back to a student shop, they know where they wanna go, because they already met that small business, they already interacted with that vendor that has the shop. The ones who are, student shops who don't have.
It's interesting, and there is potential to have the market spread across downtown or be centralized. Because, you know, it's been out on the sidewalk, Second Street, we have space, there is space around Andy's patio, there's, you know, Kent has set up remote bars. It's interesting if business owners wanted to participate and promote through this firm. Or is it about bringing it all together? And I don't have opinions as much as it's an interesting concept.
Maybe that's what we the holiday. Since we don't really have vendors for a holiday market. Like, I don't know, there might be a few off your list, but I mean, and by a few, I mean like, so, like, we don't have any ways to pull that together, so like, maybe that's the format we use for the holiday market. And then we've got 2 dates to kind of test that. And that would enable us to do, because what we know works is paper maps. No matter how many times I do digital stuff, people love the paper map. And so we could afford then to print a bunch of maps for those 2 things. And run a test and see what kind of traction we get with people around. What do you say?
Andy said we use it for all work, whether it's the holiday trigger.
Yeah.
They like to rider, it gets you bloated. So that there's, even if there's places not, there's just with a lot of storefront. Wanted to have a smaller, central, the holidays that would sit all by that, actually, simple, it's still in that. I think it's been successful.
I have an idea. So pre-COVID, uptown holiday, move things around, we had a Santa, so people could do photos with Santa, and then we brought in like 3 or 4 vendors. We just ran our little kiosk inside our building. And it was a way to entertain the adults, well, to their photos. But it gives an alternative for weather in the fall, if maybe some of the brick and mortars could open their buildings up to a vendor, a pop-up. That would normally be an intent. But it's just an idea.
Well, like, I think of Chaska Comics Forward, like, that's a great way for him to have a couple vendors in there, get on the map, and for people to realize that we have a co-working space down here. So I agree, I think that's.
Might be able to put up some places in mind, like in the morning, I could put some people in the bar if they wanted to, like, since it's not open, and then we could have 1 or 2 in the bakery side.
People will have that space as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, yeah, right, that'd be great.
So there is, like, if we want to take those 2 dates and try something like this, we've got plenty of time to plan, we put the word out for this now. So that they can put the word out, source vendors, get that set up, and then, you know, we post it down. Probably want to print maps or something like that. Actually, you know what we could do? We could put that map on the back of the Halloween map. I don't know if people would keep it, but at least it's one another way to get it to them, and then we do a separate pattern maps with it to hand out. But that's a way to also let people know and train them, see what's coming, the holiday shopping. So without it, and you don't need. Okay,
When you say holiday market and what dates, what are you referring to? Which,
I think 11/14 and 11/21. And to be fair, 11/28 is Small Business Saturday, but that concept could carry into Small Business Saturday.
Sure.
And even hometown holiday, like,
Yeah, I go along, yeah.
like we could just do 4 of those and see what happens.
That is, I like the idea of, once you go from the fall market to, you know, colder weather, just have 3 vendors of bag size, 3 at Jones, 3 at A-Loft, and then 4. When I serve somebody a drink and they say, where did I go? I can point. and a direction.
Yep.
That sounds pretty more beneficial than just looking like, but
Yeah, technically, we probably run it from Deer Saturday all the way through. So that would just be our holiday market series. And we just. There's our businesses to shop, and then within our businesses, there's additional vendors to shop and just get out.
So currently the vendors don't pay, right?
Yeah,
They do.
Oh.
So that's for this, which is like.
One time.
That's not-
Right, well, I always like to preface though that their times.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like a building here. And that time is worse than the, so it is direct crowd, so that makes for their time to work back.
Was the plan to raise that fee?
I think that's a discussion to be had, but I think, you know, this is one of those space areas where. Want to make it accessible, but also bring the crowd in and launch that.
And so would we then, since we would be taking over the fall market, would we be including that in their $30 fee, or would you expect to?
I would expect it, additional, that, right,
Right.
okay, my thoughts.
I didn't know who to minister them or them.
Yeah.
My God, Sean, yeah, so did Jones charge? So they did. $50.
Yeah, I think you should.
What I wonder though is. It feels like a beast for coordination. For the no shows, for the, it's like, oh, I had these 3 people coming in who showed up. I would want to curate who's coming to the market, so I want to be responsible. Action point and communication, because it's on our ground versus a market, so I think we just need to think for if people want to charge. I don't know that it doesn't feel like a revenue stream for the downtown business alliance, unless it's intentional to be a revenue stream. But that just feels more like that. To run it through this and then have it be separate.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think if you're gonna have businesses within your business, you own that and you manage. You wanna charge, you charge, yes, you curate who you want to represent your business. And then like if we do a fall market and keep some vendors, cause I feel like people with vegetables and pumpkins and flowers, like that's an outside thing, maybe not flowers, pumpkins, squashes. Those I feel like we curate outside of Red Bench, there's a nice setup, and that's the part that I manage. And then there is obviously communication around the whole thing, like who's got what in their stores, what's out at Red Bench, or what's out behind Red Bench, all of that.
We even say like pick up a map at Red Bench and then get traffic going there, or go there, brings or something and then.
Yeah, I like that, I think communicating a central point where I've got the bulk of the maps, and then each business having their own staff makes sense. Because I think that's where it's hard, I give everybody the same, like 50, some places run out in the first hour, some places have 50 left. So if we have a central point, that gets more on people's hands.
but you're not talking about having vendors in specific business during the fall market.
I think,
Is it after once we started with your weekend?
I think a business could if they wanted to, in the fall market.
I'm done for,
Yeah.
just talk a little pop-ups, and yes, big pop-up.
They can do that,
Is there enough vendors where you don't have so much repeat where it's the same person week after week because
So you're saying different vendors than what's outside, so maybe there's somebody I know that doesn't want to go tent outside.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we all know somebody that wants to like, is starting from scratch that want to be out there.
Yeah, because I think in my mind, I see the fall market being very vegetable, pumpkins, like harvest. Yeah, that's who I see being outside. And then I see maybe some of the fall-based gift type things, and even maybe food in other locations. But I think that's what we had always talked about, is it's, because you had a lot of feedback on that. People were like, why are you ending the market when we're just getting into like big vegetable time and where are the pumpkins? Yeah. So let's recap where we came through. We don't touch anything with the farmers markets, the two farmers markets. All we do is educate around what's coming and what Sip and Shop means. And then fall markets would run 4 times with a hub in the Paseo by Red Bench and the ability for individual businesses to pop up. And we drive this at more of a morning time. So maybe like a 9 to 1 or an 8 to noon type of situation. With the idea that people would stick around for lunch. There's a map so they can find other things that are going on downtown. And that's where the continued from the morning walking drinking leads into afternoon and evening walking. And then we leave Halloween as is, because that is not broken, we don't have it. And then we start holiday markets on Deer Saturday, which is 11/7, and we run them through Hometown Holiday. With the idea that there is no market outside, but individual businesses have the ability to get on the map if they've got their own stuff happening, like their own specials, like we've always done that. If you're running 10% off, fine, it's like, put it on the map. Or if you've got pop-ups happening in your location, add it to that.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't do a fall market on trick or treat? Either the whole trick or treat. Yeah, I was thinking we've got families who are coming down, they're doing the trick or treat thing, they can go to the market and the businesses are already looking to separate it so that people are going to businesses versus the same.
I think because it is such a go-to business type of event, I think I'd like to keep focus there. If you guys feel differently,
No, I buy that, I'm just clarifying.
because it really, like, that's what people do, they just run around town.
Mhm. That's intentional. Guess I can handle.
He's good on Christian. It's a lot to take on. My suggestion there, and this will be, I think, tied to the bigger conversation around pickleball, is you need to. This is not a party of one.
No.
Situation, just going by city and all that for marching right. There's things you don't anticipate that you put a little structure around it. So that you're not up in the wind, but all something needs to be done, I'll make a decision and everyone. Because it's a good idea. I mean, I think we could get vendors, and then I think as you go into November, you're in the 4th quarter, and people just come out in November. More so than December. And so all the respective business owners would want to be in their home location doing what they can to drive that traffic. And sit and shop with players there. So it's just it's a really busy time.
Well, and we talked about, and I think I mentioned it last meeting, about doing an intern to kind of help me staff this, because it's just me. And I mean, the last big thing we've done outside of Hometown Holiday would have been when we closed 2nd Street down. And I can tell you that like, we had probably 20 vendors. We had costume characters, balloon people, face painters, bounce houses, and that was, like, I needed 3 days of sleep after that, because that's a lot, it's 8 hours of, and this is half of that, so I know it's gonna be a lot. So I think having an extra body to kind of help me coordinate, will be helpful. I did not post it because I felt like we needed to secure what our plan was, so that then I can communicate, hire the right person. But yes, and then to your point, I think I like the idea of a committee, because here's the thing, we run into this every time that we decide to do something, is we get a little bit of business participation, and we can't have 4 businesses on this map, like that is nothing to pass out. Like, we need like a Halloween map, like we've always had 20+ spots on that Halloween map, and that is something, like that's coming out of town, so we gotta, yes, if we're gonna do this, we have to get participation.
Question, why, maybe I missed this, why are we taking over the fall market, why is this being done, why would they not keep it?
I think you guys didn't have any plans to, so there's probably no budget
Yeah,
Okay.
terribly, I think.
Okay, no, I just didn't know, I didn't know.
I mean, it's something to certainly that discussion, I think.
I guess the difference between that would be like, you guys didn't plan on, like, we asked. You know what I mean, like, what should you guys be going to do that, like, set up the market and still repeat that, or is that just dead in the water? I guess that's my question, and is it something that, since you guys already have the people that have the structure and everything to go, that's, I guess. Why sort of ruin a good thing if already sort of structured that way?
That's certainly a thoughtful discussion to be had.
Yeah.
You know, we have to look and see as far as, you know, the staff bandwidth with fall activities and things, and so forth, it's kind of in the works, you know, that beginning of the year, we talked about farmers market. And so that was always, and this is, I think that's kind of,
Well, yeah, like an addition add on.
yes, so I
yeah.
think,
Feels like there could be a blind path, so with farmers market, it was, hey, it's the first year, let's try some things. Figure it out. With the notion that it could be asked for next year.
yeah,
So that it can be planned into, and honestly, the first year, if the Downtown Business Alliance is playing that, more usable, proactive role, that helps further shape it. The harsh reality is it requires time. It requires time, will come together for organizing. I don't know when this group last had a committee. Just, I mean, it's
Right.
fair.
Right.
Okay, so that was, that was a handful of years ago. So I think that's part of the equation here, is that if we really want to move the needle, make it happen. Reestablishing the, all our own committees and all the work. Because again, when I say neutrality, it requires time. And has time, but what happened?
yeah, I think. Yeah, I think having this discussion on what role the downtown business alliance plays in these events for the success of them and the success in your own businesses. That's a meaningful discussion we had, and I agree just thoughtfully as a business owner in a different community that has. Sure, they have subcommittees for things like this, because they are an endeavor to take on. But that means that they're successful because they have a formula that they follow and the Anthony play work sort of thing. And I think, you know, if you engage some of the businesses, each, you know, divvy it up to have that contact, you know, it becomes less of a lift for you. And the engagement point for each one of the businesses, you guys sitting at this table to like provide and have those conversations, to get other businesses on board, and you know, you have that participation and activation, because I think business owners want those relationships and want that buy-in, and I think you guys can sell this to other businesses around downtown than someone like Sydney, you know, coming in as, you know, the city staff person and saying, let's do this, and I think we'll look different if that is helpful.
I think that's where I see the committee of business owners assisting in this, is you're kind of the boots on the ground, getting out to other businesses and saying, like, this is happening and we want you on board, what can you do? And gathering their information, so that then I can pull it together to create the marketing and social media around it. And then I see Sydney, maybe we meet and figure out which vendors we reach out to, and then you just doing an intro email saying, like, there's an opportunity here working with the Downtown Business Alliance to participate in the whole market. Jen can provide you a one sheet around what that looks like. And then that's a nice warm intro, so they're not like, who the hell is she? But I think, again, like, I need your support in getting businesses engaged, because that's a whole lot of time for me to go door knocking. But if you all each go to 6 businesses and get half of that, like, we've got 18 more businesses participating.
Yeah, maybe if there's a flyer or some info sheet that can be helpful as you engage, give the points of what's,
Yeah,
you guys are deciding today.
yes, like the goal of it, the times, the dates, what you put into it, what you get out of it. the QR code to drop your information into the spreadsheet. Like, I think we can easily put that together.
I think the committee is a great idea long term, because you do the lion's share of the work. And the old, if you got hit by a bus theory, well, what do we do now? You know, people have to jump in. So I think it's always a good idea to have a snake, great, you know, just to have a standing committee for, especially large events like this. To just have some idea of the flow.
Well, because when we think of the future, like our goal is in a year, we're coming around to presenting to council to increase the budget so that we can do more of this. Like, we are going to have, because again, I can't do this with 6 hours a week. It just doesn't, the math doesn't math, right? So we need people who want to take on events and make it happen.
And there is something to be learned from, like, I know, when I think about Konya and Sister Saturday, there's people come in and pass, why are they not doing this, right? So there's framework, the secret sauce that has gone, instituting, creating these moments of success, these that our community is to, that should lift some, right, from having to work harder versus smarter through a whole lot of it.
I think I'm a manager at Magnolia North in Konya, and I'm seeing such success and working there, you know, just all the people that definitely worthwhile. And I would be even willing to volunteer and walk around to other businesses and try to get things going, because I'm gonna have more time. I've been leaving there, and then my shop is gonna be open on state for Sunday. So I might be somebody that would want to join that community and see firsthand all the things that they do in the audience. So I have a lot of.
I think one of the things that we've been talking about is there has been a shift in participation here with new ideas and new experiences. And I think that's helped us, like, coming out of road construction, do this, as opposed to just like, oh, it's done. Like, I think we're in a really good, so I love that.
And then they even like got on news channels, like this girl in the community was on the news, and this shop and girl like blew up, like it had like 20 people coming, and then she got all these news channels, and then it was like 8, and we're like, whoa, this is something. So I don't know if that's something we can do too, chat to Winston Live, news channels.
We have people that live in Yevony, and stuff like that.
Oh, and people on Facebook. Yeah, just there. So yeah, I feel like there was locations on looking at maps, and then there were bags, and then each business would do like a little swag, you know, but they also hold tickets to that. So we're gonna have to grow these lots of ideas.
So, committee for Citron shops and would probably make more sense than doing fall market or something like that.
Because I think it is, it's how do we activate each of those dates?
Be more names.
I depends. I actually in the bar. Naughty stands.
Oh, absolutely.
That bar. My wife's against it, but I think it would work well. Yeah.
I also lost their too.
You can just.
I'm laughing at the fancy.
I second the motion.
Because I think now is the time to start, I think about, again, making there's some others, there's all warm and cozy vendors that, I think about what Shram used to do and how that paired really well with a more park environment. I mean, there's vendors out there. And retailers experience people coming in saying, I have this thing, but sell it. I want to be able to say, I can't sell it for you, but you can sell it for you. By pairing with other opportunities, especially when. So I think it really, I love that, and that it becomes a wellness shop. Maybe of sorts, even if it's cobbled together until we can around it. Because we're just, right?
Yes,
Like
like
it's already fine.
realistically, we need to start getting marketing out by the end of the month, first fall market date, because, and well, yes, we also need to put on time. So yes, so I think one of the things this group could walk away with today is we know the dates. It's each Saturday from 9:26 to 12:05. One of the things we need to know is what businesses have space and would be interested. Like that's our first ask, is just getting a list of people that we should be communicating with. Because we can make a general call out on the downtown Chaska page that, hey, we're running markets each of these days. If you're interested, please fill out this form, and we can curate our own in addition to what the city has been using. To maybe put out there, but then maybe we've got a list of vendors who are like, we'd like to participate, and we've got a list of businesses who have space. And we can say, I can't remember Chaska coming forward, Devin. Devin, here are 3 businesses that need a place to sit. Do you want that? I think that can also help push things in the right direction. So I guess maybe I'd say our committee needs to meet next week.
Well, I'll start with your executive, right? You guys have your, secretary
Yeah, that's the last one.
position, right? So it's like you get your executive. Then, build a big plan. And I do about that.
Could you just pick a committee room?
Yeah.
I think you should.
I think I just want to share the video that's going to be,
What video is it?
Good.
Every step of the way through.
I will be a volunteer for a doer, but I'm not a very good planner, so when you need muscle, I'm gonna go in and you can.
You see cash, with cash.
Yeah. It's total. How many people need you on this thing?
Well, I think that in all seriousness, it's time. So I think that it can stay small but mighty, but the trick is to, right? So we're constantly, I'm having conversations all the time with people. And so, yeah,
I don't want to, but I want to.
it's gonna be true that living together and sitting together might not always work, but there's the ability to communicate outside of the buildings, right? So I think, Andy plays a role in the 10th place meeting because of the nature of the business and the space. And so whether you're on the committee or not, you're established for interest. Yeah, so
I think that wants to hold out.
that's,
Yeah,
I know.
Obviously not, but- Can we meet at 2 in the morning?
We'll do all of these.
Okay.
I'm hoping for sure businesses too, that may wanna be on the committee that can't come to this time every week, but would wanna get, I've heard that from other businesses, they wanna get involved, they can't come to this. So I'm sure you can maybe find someone to.
That is the hard part for me. It's like, literally, it's the worst time for,
Right.
yeah, either coming out overnights or I'm already over at work, so.
Well, I think what I'm suggesting is that there's a committee needs to.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. It's not at 7, right?
No,
And so I'm happy between Sushana and Andy being flexible and that is, there's other ways to communicate, and I think we come together on a couple of points so that we can get the word out and then just take steps through it. And the administration doesn't rocket science, it's just let's get it together. And then our own respective businesses, I will start to iterate what I'm thinking about first. And then redirect those folks to a central location. But that's the work that happens.
Yeah, I think a communication vehicle, like I tried to start up like a Google chat with the board, but not everybody has that, so that didn't work. But at some way, like I use Slack in my day job, that's, as a remote worker, like that's how we do everything. I don't know, if that's not, but we do, my problem with text is you can't document this card on text. But we do need some way outside of like getting together to, hey, this works, I filled this out, that is updated, that.
Could do like a group me or a,
Yeah, and I think we can even, we can figure out how to decide, again, I mean, texting is effective to a large degree, and if it's not option.
Go check.
Location, yeah, valid. But and I think to start it not to be so document administrative intensive for everybody.
No,
It's
that's
more,
You
yeah,
guys are
it's
big
getting
creativity.
some decisions made and
Yes.
subtraction. And then being just efficient.
All right, so for decision points, we approve the dates. And we approve the event types. The committee will meet and determine businesses that can host others, businesses that are interested. If we think we should do anything else to supplement the event, like if we do the park, something like that, that will allow us to then build a budget out for these dates. Make sure that it fits with the other things that we already have budget approved for, like holiday, Halloween, things like that. We get business involved, we build the marketing, we build the maps.
So the first thing that needs to be done is updates and that. Awesome, right?
yep, and that's going on Monday.
So that would be, I think that's.
Okay.
It's coming.
And it's coming.
Next.
Let's just stick with Steve, is that done? Can we check?
9/17. Or
It'll be, it'll go to council on Monday.
On Monday. Say that's fast. So then the next thing is solidifying location. Yep, right, so that would be the conversation. Maybe the part of that, right?
yeah, location, time, and if you want to do anything else, something.
So, well, we're not gonna do that right now. I think we can. Or is we want to do that right now?
Well, we have 35 minutes left, and let's ask the group, so we might want a quick update on the farmer's market, there are some updates on the back. We might want a quick city update, I know there's things happening in regards to Oak Ridge, Cooper's. Or there wasn't Cooper's, I think there was work in there, so we may want a quick update there. And we also need to have a board discussion,
Yeah, so there's a lot,
so I guess we take it off.
I think we take.
All right, let's do a quick farmer's market update, then let's do a quick city update, and we'll save the rest.
Farmers market's going really well. We're getting people every week. It seems like we're not like, we'll like go down in numbers, but then all of a sudden I'll get like 6 more people asking and we've been joined. So I'm staying in that 50-ish vendors. So it's going really, really well.
I was there Thursday at your place and not awesome. Busy, and it was hot that day. Yeah, really busy one.
I have one suggestion for, since you're gonna have those 2 farmers markets, if you would be able to talk to some of the restaurants in town. I know that they were interested, especially like La Hermosa. I know the Golden Kitchen has been involved a little bit, but Chaska Thai, they'd have trouble with emails, so talking to them in person is a lot easier, but just to let them know that the sip and shop is happening, because I think they were really interested in doing something with a community event, and La Hermosa especially. So if somebody wants to talk to them about your sip, La Hermosa does. Yeah, they have the catering license. I don't know about Chaska Thai. I doubt it, but I don't know.
They just received a liquor license not long ago.
Yeah, I don't know. if they-
Yeah, I don't think they have a catering license, but even just to
So
let
in
them
this
know.
case, it would be shots on, and so you're serving people off of destination.
Yep, if you wanna either be involved or. I know the Golden Kitchen provides some, they kind of copied what you did with the little drink tokens, so we have those at each of the farmers markets with the bags.
Was last time visit?
Well, it was a little, I mean, I thought it was gonna be a little quieter. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
compared to previously.
Yeah, you're fine.
I think the county fair and the state.
Yeah.
fair kind of like-
And Prince Night,
Yeah, county fair is driving.
Yeah, Tony canceled their, to do their, last night, we still there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's
Totally agree.
It's intentional. Here, it's fine. It's a consideration though, I think, for the future around, a consideration, I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, it could be that if it's really slow and stay there, they say it's not back to school.
Yeah.
other things, I don't know what the answer is, but for vendors, it is gonna be what's gonna be.
I think the state fair will dilute it down. County fair is like, right, it's, you know,
Yeah.
that's makes an impact, yeah.
This just popped into my head, so I'll throw it out so you don't think about it. My daughter was explaining to me that, one of your TikToks went viral, City Chaska. It was the calling Chanhassen Fire Department until after midnight, so. Which is so cute, but if, when we get all this down, if you all could do a viral TikTok on sip and shops. That would be good.
I feel like Rouge 41's got you covered there with your TikTok. The question, your yesterday one.
Yeah, I did. After she has.
Yes, I did, we did, I used to do it last week.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, back to rail. We're back, okay, city, farmers market, city updates.
I put them on here, City Hall Plaza, so obviously it's under construction as well, so. On track to be completed before winter, landscaping would happen in the spring. And do we know when the door is gonna move?
Next week, the door is supposed to move for the library,
The library door is gonna move for like right now, you can just walk past the store, not a library, it will move to the 4th Street entrance.
which is currently in,
Door on 4th Street.
yeah, it currently right now is an employee entrance only, so
Yeah.
that'll
So that's
be the opening.
one thing to know. And then the other thing is filing ended after our last meeting. So as far as November 3rd candidates for city council, specifically Ward 1, John Braun is the incumbent and Byfeld is running against him, and then Ward 3, me is the incumbent, and then Steve Herman and Catherine Tarbell Hall are also running, and then for mayor, Taylor is the incumbent is running, and David Meinster, I think is his name. Is.
Do you use that spelling properly so I can go?
Careful.
Harbor
residents
residents
are and those are really the only two updates I had. Taylor's staff doesn't.
I just one other update, the downtown master plan is put out a survey. If I send it to you, can you send it out to the large? Okay, it goes until August 24th and we're just looking for feedback and,
What's the Facebook one that covered?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the library task force is getting ready to meet, right? Or if they have.
Yeah, so we've started design, meeting with the architect. The library task force will meet in mid-September, but you'll start to see engagement. So library engagement will be at Touch a Truck next Thursday, the farmers market the following Thursday, Latin Music and Food Festival. We're gonna be doing a lot of engagement for the library design here soon.
You asked about Oak Ridge that.
yeah.
Technically that doesn't hit the council yet, but it had.
Yeah, it sounds like it probably will be a part of our packet today.
So it's It's not Nordic, it's
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian. Scandinavian, like hotel and spa.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really cool. I like stumbled upon it a couple months ago, I think before they even got to the point of submitting, and it's a really cool concept. For a hotel and spa that would go in, and there's a beautiful lake behind Oak Ridge, and it's a great spot. You'll bring some good.
It's a destination.
Yeah,
It would be the first in the nation.
yeah.
A big restaurant.
Yes, big restaurant. So really, I mean, I think it's really continues to drive Chaska as a destination, so diesel team, things like that. Yeah, so,
Is this different than the group that was at the council meeting?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they were talking about it.
I feel like it was all.
Yeah,
you
I
guys-
think
it
it
was
was
already
good to
in the
point out that
proposal.
it's a concept plan, and so the things that are part of that plan will change. We're working with staff within our, planning process of what, you know, the different codes and things that are. But it is very exciting, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be upset about something like that.
Mhm.
Almost every development trust has something that's like, no, they're like, I don't know how somebody, that old building is turned to a small. building.
Yeah.
I guess, wait, it's probably too expensive to keep my wife, so.
So, I met with the developer a couple weeks ago, and the concept is that there's gonna be a hotel aspect to it, but the idea is, yeah, they want, the wellness piece is the piece that they really wanna emphasize, right? And so the, you know, concept of like hot, cold, the pools and things like that. And there is like that, you know, you can buy a membership level, but you can also do a one-time deal as well. So that's kind of the philosophy.
And I feel like I saw it in some of the documentation that they wanted to be very community focused.
Yes.
So while there is the hotel and
Yes.
destination, they also want to be a part of the community. I think that plays in for us, like how do we connect the dots down
Yeah.
there?
And even beyond that, if they're, so what I read was $40 million.
It is, yeah,
So
is
this is what the city needs in order to draw other investors, right? So we are talking about like, what do you believe the city or the community would need in order to be your version of success? Everybody has their definition. And to me, it's invest in the infrastructure to build out, like Terry said, businesses that are looking to serve the community or looking to draw in all the things that they're looking for. And someone says I'm gonna spend $40 million for the line. Which is why it's really important for businesses that you don't tell me. So that when you do have conversations, if they come out of the woodwork of people who have money who want to invest, they just don't exactly call them and take points. This is one.
yeah,
It's a leadership.
yeah, and they're, you know, very honest of.
You should get them to spend $20 million and build it, the old hotel, and then people just go out.
Oh, that's been.
They're very tied to the amenities of that.
So this is a Marriott property?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my phone.
And I heard rumblings that there was work happening in Cooper's. Was that the case in where?
I saw one.
Yep, they are, slowly working through doing some of the interior work and
But no
they've gotten
completed.
timeline. Yeah.
People, something, same
Yeah,
time.
well, let me do this one really quick. I had an individual reach out who was opening an acupuncture practice down here, so we've got another new business coming.
Where?
She has not responded back to. Oh, she, yes, she'll be in a.
Nice.
Hoping to be in like in a month already. So
That's great.
We'll get her added to everything, maybe she.
So if you've driven by the depot lately, you've seen crews crawling all over that building, inside and out. We expect to get the, building back, have the internal, restoration work, done by the end of this month, August. Then we'll turn it over to our tenant, Greg Barner with, Riverbend, Wine Shop. So he hopes to open by, I think, September 21st, 22nd, late September timeframe. There's a lot of work there for that to happen, but that's his plan. So, and the computer repair guy will be back as well. So, the outside work, that's independent of the fire, the stucco or windows, the door, and everything. That should be done all next week as well. So things are moving along.
Yeah.
It's looking great.
Yeah, very exciting.
All right, any other general updates from any?
Yeah, well, it'll be great. Oh, I'm sorry. Do something. But you know,
Well, my big excitement are the flyers that I passed around. It is open for registration already. We've got 10 people signed up for an October event, and the hunting for history tours are, they're a lot of fun. And they go really well with your sip and shop. It's a sad thing. So I don't know if there's somebody who's interested in working with me on something pertaining to that. Like us.
Yeah, whole mission. Casting of the lungs for the history.
Yes, we do, lots of, sort of old
Cocktails.
saloons and yes, but anyway, I don't want to keep on. Steve.
Awesome, yeah, we're getting ready for our membership barbecue next week, down in Chaska Park, and then, our 5K, Harbor along with Steamboat Day is, well, and our piece, we'll go classic, get dog, so,
On what day?
September 15th.
Because at 18, I'm like.
On the, we will have a Southern Social on October 1st, we've done in the last, third year, of Tri-Chamber Social, where we took Eden Prairie, Southwest Metro Chamber, and Laconia, and we do a Tri-Chamber event. That's gonna be a great event, on October Thursday, October 1st, and then, we'll be doing a private candidate serve, as well.
And just general updates, Julie and I have been working on the expansion of the districts. We've got an email that will go out today to that audience that just gives them an overview of what being a part of the district would look like. And then we have plans next week to connect with anyone who has questions, so that we're ready to stop forward and close that out before we start work for it.
How far out is that?
So we took it.
Overage.
We took it out to Southern Social. And then we did not go this way because this way was to Tram.
Landscape company. See the sign and.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
But that wooding company got built at that part of Iron Park.
Yes, they're already.
That's already part of it.
That's already part. They have already
Yes,
one.
Steve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So people can walk across the street. I was told.
Oh.
For the civic.
No, not for the sip and shop. That's different.
Yeah, for that was the,
The sip and shop is 61 Pine and Walnut and First, River. Yeah, River.
Yeah,
That's the way of putting it.
generally, yes. I gotta stop using that word. We won't be able to say that. You shouldn't say it right now. We won't be able to say it going forward. You can't once.
I just refer to it as historic. It's the historic district, yeah, Chaska.
That's a much less.
Yeah, right, we get the boundaries that we forget, and it's the old part versus the new development part.
That's allowed to have.
Yeah.
Right. Special services. Place with bridge, so here, up here, then, okay. The civic shop is just, it's like, stops at city.
I will go through.
Special services, you talk about.
I thought we did include the,
Businesses.
Chaska laundry and places like.
Pretty bold things. Yeah, they're.
We can certainly, we can certainly add them to the communication and see what the response is. It's just, I mean, we wanna make sure that everyone feels valued. Because the problem is if we expand the boundaries and that area is not feeling valued, we run the risk of people coming and saying, we don't want this anymore.
But they, again, correct, my station, city basement, hopefully it's just as better.
Yeah.
Doesn't it impact
Julie,
whether or
right?
not that
Mhm.
asset special tax added on to it, and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our building. To add additional tax to sales tax and those, so they. Them that should have that.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
that's how they would have to petition to have that special assessment. No, they would have to agree to that special assessment.
So that we know who we're dealing with. Yeah.
So we'd have to start the communications. And then if they want to opt in, there's a petition that they would have to sign. And then we'd have to expand the boundary with the council officially. And then at the end of the year, add that to the budget that's already going for approval at the end of the year. Those are kind of the main steps.
But it gets done that. That thought we were gonna go up across, down across, down the top.
Okay, Julie and I'll get together. Recent, just to give you an idea of what people are clicking in on the recent email, trying to remember what all I put in there. Oh, the big business feature was River City Nails, which is nail place. They clicked into the farmer's market 27% of the time. The City Hall Plaza, construction 23% of the time. Summer concert series 18, and then, they forwarded the newsletter 17% of the time. And got on our Facebook page. So engagement is still really high with the newsletter. It's about 55% open rate, which is above average. And then we will do another post, part of our social series this month, around signing up for the newsletter to try and get more than I think we're up to like 900, which is about 300 more than we had when we started the newsletter. So we're getting some traction there. But that, hold on, I'll tell you when that post is. Because that's a post that you all can share out to individuals.
Feedback I ever see on, little too text.
Oh, too long, okay, that's good feedback. Because I've taken I'm gonna put everything I can in here to share as much as I
Take
can.
all of the topics. For. It's still, people want to have. Scroll application.
That's actually part of being into the radical thing too. I think too.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of other highlights, which maybe you want to know, is the city of the Star Tribune had a great home of Chaska on his first. Right, section, great photos, and the farmers markets in the neighbors of Chaska magazine. So I had someone walk in, short with me Friday and say, they're because of the structure article. And they were planning an outing with families. So, more than merrier, right? So, and then all businesses. Which I think is aiding in people getting excited and coming to.
All right, let's talk the board. So high level overview for those who have missed meetings here and there. Several meetings ago, we discussed the fact that we should put a little bit more rigor to board process. It's been a little loose in the sense that we have bylaws around what it can be. We should determine what it should be. Update those bylaws, ensure that we have spots filled and move forward. So discussions have been on the number of seats, on what type of participation is required to hold your seat. Because in order for us to continue to move things forward, we need here in the forum, and then the recruitment of not only new board members to fill those seats once we determine the number, but just the framework of always having in the back of our mind when we're out in the business community, to let people know that we do meet and that we do have committees and we love new ideas. Well, I'll pause there. Am I missing anything that we've been talking about?
Can I just refrain one thing you said? The bylaws are not what it can be. The bylaws are what the group already adopted.
Yes.
So just to be clear, so in terms of starting where you are with what you have, it's going to be very clunky in trying to reinvent the bylaws while you're building the plan as you're trying to apply it, versus just going back to the bylaws and embracing the bylaws for what they are, and then pivoting along the way once the next board is established and complete. Does that make sense? Anything? Otherwise, I think the questions will be everything from what time's the meeting to what makes a forum. And the first order of business is forum place. As Steve was saying earlier, like, you gotta get the one place where all things from. And that's the.
So some of the discussions we've had as the bylaws currently allow 5 to 9 seats. Do we want to align on a direct number of seats? The second piece is we have an open secretary position because Krista has stepped back. And we also have a remaining member at large seats. And to clarify, both board seats and member at large seats are voting seats. That had always been at the start for us. Those are all voting seats. They help us reach a quorum and reach the tops.
So to start with the board, nominations have to be had, accepted. And that's true of board seats and member of our seats. So it feels like the first step is nominations, acceptance, and
As a city, we can nominate, does have board members, anybody from meeting, who can, what is the nominating call?
I think everybody.
I'm pretty sure it's anyone.
And did we already establish, as I know last time we answered the questions, or what does the secretary do? Was that already covered, you know, because
That is a
from a
good,
treasurer standpoint, back monitoring the account from time to time, really, that's about it. So what is the secretary's role, what's the time?
we did have a long discussion around that. And I think we landed on the fact that we saw the secretary as more of a business-facing role to help steward communication and connect, as opposed to someone who runs minutes, takes the notes, does that stuff.
It also feels as though the secretary has a direct connection to the administrator to congeal and combine all things, including the administration of things that the budget council or businesses. And I think even around each of the goals, the recommendation is once the board is pre-established, is to give that limited roles for each position, vice president versus vice president too. So if you're the treasurer, but you're reporting out the treasury report, like how was the treasurer, policy, minute, all of those things I think established. Because you're really important about succession. It's not good enough. And I think that's part of what the secretary is looking at.
We have a spirit tool that starts when nominations are made. Spirit.
Not have it.
They're the bylaws. Just notes that there's going to be a vote, so.
So we have 2 open positions. Are there any nominations for?
Well, I don't see his name on here, and I'm kind of interested in the merge. Right. I would like to nominate Karen or Adam. I second. Adam Minimum.
I'd like to nominate Sarah.
I will do. That was a great do.
I'm just gonna say it like this, I wanna nominate myself. Good. And I don't know if I can nominate myself, but you don't have any. I would nominate, to nominate me. I am not on this board. Nominate Sarah to be our. You seconded? And you did. Okay. Very nice, second, third, fourth, fifth, no.
I'm not seeing anything in there around the time frame, but I think, also I'm working off of PDF snapshots of this thing, so let me go back to the actual document, but let's,
Do you need another member at large then? They're gonna move to secretary?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
I think, what I remember is 30 days if we simply, in our communication, about this meeting, say that we're.
Yes.
And meets that.
that makes sense, whether or not it is a requirement, I think that's the way forward.
The board should probably have got me like 5 months.
Hey, somebody's got a copy. Hey. All right, so we do have a still open member at large. Are there any other nominations that we'd like to cover today? Because we will be voting at our next meeting.
There are a lot of names that come to mind, but they're not here.
We can nominate several.
Well, that's just it, I think that being here is the point, like, anything that you can always be here.
Yeah, Andy, you want to be a member of our? John, would you like to know?
You're brand new for that. Just give me a minute. What about Lisa? Should she be a member of that? Or is she just using from?
So,
Do you have any interest in being a member of one?
yeah.
In case to show up. Well, and here's the other thing I'll add to that, I think that it's a commitment, but also one of the things that we establish are terms and the ability to move in and move out, right? So it's not a life sentence.
Right.
Right.
And your main responsibility is about being here and helping us make decisions about the way forward, because it's a voting role, and so your job is to make sure that we're making good financial decisions that drive and impact our businesses. And I feel like in your case, you're bringing a lot of really great ideas to the table based on your experience with Canada, and that's what we've seen work so far with the numbers, so.
And the range is fine. They work on it, and people that want to participate and engage in it. We don't get, I don't deny it. So, if we deny the test and put it above quality over quantity, let's focus just on quantity and let more present, but a lot of engaged as well. I would hopefully nominate you as a member.
The requirement is, and there is, so if like we have semi-conflict and you can come on the Zoom, that's still providing support. I like it's better in the room, but
But the reality is sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
And I think that the point there is to give people heads up and say, hey, I'll follow up. Let me know if I can do it. So I think life is gonna help, right? There's that.
and I think part of the reason we were leaning heavier on numbers is that allows flexibility for the board, someone to say, like, I have baseball day, I can't be there. And we can still get a form and we can still make decisions with the board. Where we were getting stuck is we had 2 board members that had to show up, and then we couldn't, we couldn't approve anything, we were just. Okay. So what about Anne? Does she have any interest in?
I was gonna bring it up, yeah. And
You guys have 8 right now, so we could go to 9 and have.
So who wants to talk to Anne?
I mean, I'm talking.
Unless somebody else.
Thank you.
So, we're at,
That's the podcast.
Yeah, if it's,
oh, it's in, oh, look at you, chamber.
yes,
Can we agree that vote happens during the September meeting?
yes, that is what I will publish in the newsletter. is that we have nominations for the empty seats. These are the nominations. The vote will take place at the September meeting. You're welcome to join.
In the voters.
Since you're in a meeting right now, accepting role nominations, if you're considering Anne, somebody should probably nominate, she was declined, right?
And for what nominate Ann.
Okay. That's a good sign. Good thought. Just keep things moving forward. Yeah.
And Sarah, the vote, we haven't let this formalized in the September, is that just, she voted on?
Yeah, it's formalized so that the board is adopted.
That's-
And, I'll say, knowing that you and Dan and some people, they hold that it would be your opportunity, should you want things to change, including succession, saying that that's environment, but it's, when we think about the outlaws, knowing that some people, all, that is the opportunity for everybody, right? Whether or not, would like.
Let me throw it, I'm not married to this position. But I will say that as a business owner, having transitioned from, or as a building owner, having transitioned from being a business owner, my involvement's less, but I don't believe it's not part of my meeting. So if there's anyone that has an interest in that, I'd be happy to back down to member water. So, because I've been in this a long time, and I think maybe I run my course. And I know, everybody wants that job, but well, if you would, nobody wants it, but.
Do you have any thoughts? About
I would nominate Sarah. Not offense to you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's what he's on.
Yeah.
Watch one more trips.
And that's part of the problem too, is that,
Yeah.
I have no challenge to that. The role of secretary is work. It might be a little bit more role description around the role of president, vice president, because a lot of people will say, well, there's president, right? Secretary, in my mind, I have, like, what that is, like, maybe you have lots on there.
well, I think Steve would also make the president. Steve has already taken on the Hunter Club presidency, and that's a lot to have. So, yeah.
You got interest.
I would do it, but I don't know about the responsibility, is it? I nominate Steve.
It's like that.
That's it.
It's good to have somebody in that role that's been here for a while, so that you know the history of it. You'd be very dumb being wrong, but I also, as coming as secretary, it's so critical. I had 0%.
So that would be a big, big nomination. Alright.
I nominate Andy as vice president.
Well, this doesn't all happen, so.
No, right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a.
Yes.
Because again, it's a quality.
Yeah. They just feel about it. And you just like that. Vice president.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Or you may, and vice president and you're in for March.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, well, I can.
Fire eleven.
That would go business.
Man, but I'm gonna say, excuse my kids in Italy.
Like that idea too, because you can. So,
Yeah.
you know,
You get that.
I like.
Nice to have you a part of it too, so you can still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I also look at and has experience or, yeah. Previous life of the. I get
Another SSD.
Thank you, another SSD.
Yes.
Okay, and should I be nominated to make it, the role of secretary to make the roles, but those roles have lots of roles, but, and so it really is about input, tenure, and.
So president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, member at large, and
That's what it is.
potentially member at large.
Yeah, what you said is
turnout was attractive, we said, you've been doing this a long time. That's exactly why we're inviting this thing. And we really need that, John, the new Sarah and Kim, intermediate with us being around, I think that land is really helpful. For the team of these things. So, we try to keep Rick for a long time.
Yeah.
We just, we have the same thing, as it was city council, one property, there's this mayor, to the wisdom of the state said. So we said, we're doing this a long time, I'm going to stay back, so I'm not too far. Yeah. And then after a few years, Sarah and Ken, Bob, and the other, just think that's how I'm sure.
You'd be at that time.
Do we have any issue with the president, vice president, and treasurer all be not property owners, only one property owner inside of that? I don't, just that, I don't.
And Sarah brings three, we chill, those sorts of retail, commercial properties, residential. I think the blending is like that.
Is the bill for sale?
Yes,
Okay, well, I was serious, I think we have.
One
Back
other,
from.
one other piece, I mean, you brought up, like, there's a lot of crack flooding. I've been doing this a long time, so I think that's a discussion that we're going to have, like, if you'd like me to continue, I certainly love being a part of it. But also if you feel like you could tap someone else in, that would bring new ideas and protect it, I am open to that too.
I think, I think that's the whole thing, even if it's not you. If it is, whatever, but that I think it's time to reevaluate roles, expectations, whatever, rather than all down. Yeah, do it, it's like, okay, this is
Anything
the week, the allotment, the monthly allotment, with that.
You don't have to do all of it.
Be done, and et cetera, et cetera, I think it's a good time to discuss that. Be like, well, you say, I'm not, meeting those, like, some get you, but yeah, that sounds good.
Jinx anything.
Not-
Nice quiet weekend. Then Matt can come back and,
The boundary.
Now you need to knock on what?
probably not. It looks like some composite.
I think the goal of what give purpose on and goals, and Sarah and I have talked about.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything else, but who knows? They usually don't tell me. See you Monday.
Job description, same with the shred, other than, so whether it's all of the financial parts, or
I did bring a pen.
a warm sleep, or system tanks and the issues, Christian, description.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Also, it's going to, so, and
Anyone